Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending 8/6/2016, which means we are officially at Metal in the Mountains week. That's right, people, it is coming up this Saturday, and if you are anywhere near Northern California, you should be there. Remember, it's a free show, all ages, all day, tons of metal bands, the best bands of Northern California has to offer, and of course, the Heavy Metal Psychic is going to be there all day doing readings, so you got to come check it out. Come over and say hi. Come and enjoy the bands and just enjoy the atmosphere. I'm telling you, this is my third year in a row being up there, and it is one of the best shows we do all year long. So don't forget to come and check that out. We got a lot going on in the horoscopes this week, and we're going to go ahead and get right to it. And we're going to start as we always do with Aries. Now, I'm telling you, this whole month is just absolutely prime for you Rams this whole month. And this week really kicks off the month in a beautiful way. With Uranus's trine with Venus and Mercury, it's all about projecting and manifesting the dream job that you want, not just a job that makes you money. There's a big difference there. You know, anybody can get a job that makes you money, you know, but the truth is that when you're talking about a career, something that really resonates with your heart, something that you really want to do and something that you love to do, there is a ripe energy for it, and it kicks off this week, but it is gonna go on for the whole entire month. Now, when we're talking about this manifestation, Uranus's position in these trines is all in what you do on a day-to-day basis. So this energy is a very positive energy that projects you forward into these specific career goals. And of course, what you get done during the week is really, really important. There's a lot of energy and a lot of drive into what it is that you're getting done this week in order to be able to achieve those career goals. So this week, make the most of all of this time. Don't worry about little things that may come in and take your focus away, because you're going to be able to go right back into that focus again. And I'm telling you, this energy is so magical, it's like everything you touch turns to gold. So you don't want to waste it. So you guys, have a great week with that. Taurus, enjoying those people that bring a smile to your face is what it's all about for you guys this week. And when it comes to our closest relationships, there's always like a mixture of pleasure and pain in these relationships. Because the truth is, one minute they're putting a smile on your face, and the next minute they're driving you insane. And that is how these relationships are. Now, this week it's really important to pay attention to the balance of the good and the bad. What tends to happen within every relationship is we put so much focus on the negative aspects of the relationship that we hardly have time for the positive aspects of the relationship. I mean, they feel like they come so few and far between because we're so focused on the next negative thing that's going to come out of that relationship. This week, it's a chance for you to really be able to balance out both. Make the most of the good things in the relationship, and don't put so much power and so much focus on the negative aspects of the relationship. The truth is, if the relationship is all negative, obviously it's not something that's going to work for you. But a typical relationship is balanced in both. You have your great times, you have your not so great times. Every relationship has this. You want to make sure that there's a good balance there, or that there's a little bit more positive than negative. And that really comes down to you and how you see the relationship, not necessarily what's going on in the relationship. So this week, make the most of all of those good times. Deal with the challenges as and when they come, and once they're dealt with, forget about them. You don't need to keep harping on them, because the truth is, that's how you keep the negativity in the relationship going. So you guys, have a great week with that. Gemini, it's all about money for you guys this week, and when it comes to financial difficulties, it can be very challenging, because the truth is, as much as people want to say that money is the root of all evil, and money is all of these things, you know, the truth is, in this particular world, money is everything. You can't do anything without money. You can't do the things that you need to do. You can't do the things that you want to do if you don't have money. So it is really important, but it's not a ruler of your life. And this is what it's all about for you guys this week. When it comes to money, it's time this week to really focus on how much that money controls your life and what it is that you do, the choices that you make. A lot of times we'll sit down and we'll set a goal and we'll say, this is what I want to do. And then we'll think, oh, but it's going to cost a lot of money. And boom, it stops us right there. You don't even bother trying. Well, this week, it's time to take that control away from the money and put it back in your pocket. Here's the thing. There's a lot of things that you can do for very little money. And, when it comes to, saving money or going to sales or whatever, you Geminis are brilliant, coming up with all these different ideas of either how to invest the money or make the money. And we're talking out of the box ideas here too. I mean, Geminis are not in the box, right? You guys are out of the box. You need to take yourselves out of the box even when it comes to money. And don't let the worry of money stop you from doing what it is that you need to do. Because I'm going to tell you a little secret. The truth is that when it comes down to it, and when it comes down to the things that we want to do, we don't let money stop us. It may be a difficulty. We may not be able to have the party, the big, huge party that we want to, but we can find a way to get to that show, to get to where we need to go, to do what we got to do so that we can make more money. And that is what it's all about. So this week, don't let money become an obstacle between you and what you want. Figure out a way to use what you have in order to either make the money or find a shortcut around there so you don't have to spend too much money in order to get around that obstacle. You Geminis are brilliant, so I know you can do it. So you guys have a great week with that. Cancer, the moon kicks off this week in your sign, and her opposition with Pluto, of course, is going to make things difficult when it seems like, in an emotional way, your goals and dreams are farther away than they ever have been before. And that can be really, really heavy on anybody, but it's especially heavy on Cancers. The good news is that the moon's trine with Neptune at the beginning of this week is also reminding you that following your intuition is going to make things a lot easier for you. Here's the root of this challenge between the moon and Pluto. This challenge is rooted in your own thoughts. What are your thoughts looking like? If your thoughts are projecting negative manifestation, like you're worrying about it, you're overthinking it, you're telling yourself that it's not going to happen, you got some negative ego communication going on in there, and it's that negative communication or that negative self-talk that's really what's holding you back, not your ability to be able to achieve these goals. So when it comes down to it, being able to feel your way through and use your intuition works a lot better, because as your intuition is pulling you to the next clue of what you need to do in order to get what you want, and instead of overthinking it, you're just doing what you're being pulled to do, rather than thinking over and over and over again that it's not going to work. So this week, it's time to really focus on how your mind is playing against you when it comes to achieving these goals. If you can identify that, that gives you the chance to control that, to tell your brain, I don't want to think like that, turn it off, put it into something else, and don't tell me that that's hard and you can't do it, because there's a lot of people that can't. I have been able to do this. It's really not that difficult. The truth is, it is all in your control, and as soon as you get that, the sooner you get that, the sooner you can have whatever you want. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, a new moon in Leo on the 2nd this week is a perfect time to manifest everything you've ever wanted when it comes to your own career goals. And we're not just talking about getting a job, we're talking about doing the job that you want to do, making money doing something that you love, which is a very powerful thing, let me just tell you. Now, of course, there's going to be all these people that come up and they're going to say to you, that's a ridiculous idea, why would you do that, and all of these different things, and everybody has those people. Even the most famous people that are out there doing what they love right now had those people telling them that it was a stupid idea. I mean, think about it. Stephen King, he's one of the most famous authors in the world. Obviously, I'm sure that he's writing books because he loves to write them. And I'm almost positive that when he thought about this and he said, this is what I want to do, there was a whole bunch of people that came up to him and said, that is the dumbest idea, and that's never going to sell, you're going to waste your time. Well, ha-ha to those people, Stephen, if you know what I mean. We all have those people, even some of the best people who have already reached that goal. have had those people. The difference is that obviously Stephen didn't listen, did he? Because he wrote all of these books. A lot of these books turned into movies. I'm sure he's sitting pretty right now. And those people that said he couldn't do it, well, on them, if you know what I mean. This week, it's all about really putting that positive energy into what you want to do. Not just surviving in life, but doing what you want to do. And as far as those people that are gathering together to tell you that it's not going to work, you're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. And you deserve to do this for you, especially as the sun and moon are in trine with Saturn. This trine is telling you have a responsibility to yourself. Remember that little girl or that little boy that had those big dreams? It's your responsibility to make sure that that little boy or little girl's dreams come true now. Because at that time, they really believed that that's what they were going to do. And it's time to tap into that a little bit and give that belief to yourself now. So this week, it's time for you to start that manifestation, to open up your mind to all of these possibilities, to slap that crown on your head and say, I'm a Leo, I deserve this, I own this, and I'm going to do this. And prove to all of those people telling you that it's a stupid idea that you wear the crown, you deserve it, and you are strong enough and bold enough to go after what you want. That's what it comes down to. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, Jupiter's trine with Pluto is really trying to show you just what a beautiful, huge loving support system you do have around you. And when times get tough, it's really easy to become blinded by the support that you have around you. And you could have it right there in front of your face, but it still feels like you don't have any support at all. These people just aren't there to support you. They're there to get what they can get out of you, kind of a thing. And though that might be true for some people, it's not true for all people. This week, as Jupiter is still in that trine position with Pluto, Pluto is really trying to tell you where the root of this problem comes from. It's your own thought process that's saying, I don't have this support system, even though it's right there in front of your face. Now, I know that it seems silly. How can your brain say you don't have something that's right in front of your face? Well, we do a lot of things that don't make any sense as human beings. So you really have to pay attention, really look around, really open your mind and your heart to see this support system around you, to really feel the support system around you, to know that you deserve this support system. That's really the root of all of that, is knowing that you deserve to see this support system. And this week it's really time to pay attention and focus on that support system. Open your eyes to what you do have around you. Not just the negative things, but the positive things too. And you got to open your eyes to see that, even if you have to pry your eyes open. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra, this week, some same old patterns are coming up to rear their ugly heads so that you have to deal with them. And that's not a pleasant thing at all. Nobody likes to deal with that. Unfortunately, every sign takes their turn focused on this particular aspect of their lives. But when it comes to these old patterns and when it comes to these things, and when I'm talking about old patterns, I'm talking about the same old bullshit that you deal with over and over and over again. In some cases, the same stuff that you've dealt with your entire life over and over again. This week, you can choose to look at this pattern in the same way that you always had, with a defeatist attitude, with a, oh God, this is what I always go through, or this always happens to me, or this is just life, and this is just the way that it is. I work to die and pay bills, and that's kind of, it. I'm not allowed to have money, I'm broke all the time. These are defeatist attitudes, and of course you don't want to keep these going, because this is the definition of insanity. It is never going to change if your mindset continues to stay in the same place over and over again. But you have another choice. You can choose to face these challenges with courage, with bravery, and with boldness. Because the truth is, by being able to identify where this root comes from in terms of how you feel, that defeatist attitude is rooted in a feeling that's buried deep, deep, deep inside of you. Oftentimes it comes from childhood. What is it, or what happened at one time that made you feel that you don't deserve to be successful? Once you understand that root, once you find that root, you're able to look at it and to release yourself from those feelings of that moment. Now, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but we hold on to those feelings forever unless we go back in and eliminate them. So this week, let's step out of the definition of insanity and actually look at this situation and face this situation with some bravery, with some courage, and look at it and say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to deal with this challenge in a different way. That doesn't mean I'm going to eliminate it for good, but it does mean that I'm going to play this game in a different way. Able to be successful, possibly, rather than being stuck in the same old thing. And who wants to be stuck in the same old shithole in anyways? You know, it doesn't make any sense. You have the power, you have the control, you have the way to get her done. You just have to get her done. So you guys have a great week with that. Scorpio, the dark moon in your sign this week may have these situations coming up that feel like they're forcing you to make changes in yourself. And when you feel like you're forced to make changes, especially in yourself, we do, oftentimes as human beings, we go to being offended because we have to make the change, and then we get really stubborn because we're being told what to do. Now, I know Scorpios can be that way just like any other sign that is known for being stubborn. This week, it's really time to take a look at this in a different way, guys. The truth is, it doesn't mean that you guys aren't perfect the way that you are. Everybody is perfect the way that you are. But would you settle just because you think that you're perfect the way that you are? Let's think about this for a minute. You got a house. It's a nice little house, comfortable little house, has, all the room that you need, but all of a sudden somebody gives you a bigger house with a swimming pool and some amenities that you don't have in your little house. Are you really going to look at that big house and go, no, I'll just stay here? This is about improvement. This is about growth. This is about being better than you were yesterday. And doing that means you have to make certain changes. Of course, life is going to come out to you. The universe and life come together to create these challenges in order for you to see that this part of you does need to be changed. And there is no perfect, quote-unquote, perfect person walking around out there. The truth is, if you get to that perfection stage, there's no reason for you to be here anymore. It's time to move on. You've learned everything that you need to learn in this lifetime. It's time to move on from it. So I always look at my imperfections as means to keep on going in this lifetime, if you know what I mean, because I'm still working towards those imperfections. As you take a look and are able to identify some of these things that need to be changed, let's say mindsets, for example, negative mindsets, that needs to be changed. That's a part of you that is not working in your favor, but you can change it so that it does work in your favor. By being open to it and putting the stubbornness on the shelf for a minute, it gives you the option to be able to grow, to be able to move from that smaller, comfortable house to a bigger, more comfortable house. And by doing this, you're moving forward, and more options start to open up for you. So this week, let's put the stubbornness on the shelf and look at this situation, look at this change with bravery, with honesty, with courage, and say, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to become better than I was yesterday. Because the truth is, that really is what it's all about. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, Mars is moving back into your sign this week, so if you feel this burst of energy and you feel like, Sagittarians have tons of energy anyways, but if you start to feel like 10 times more energy, that's probably why, because Mars is there and influencing your sign this week. Of course, actually for the rest of the month, to be honest with you, of course, as Mars comes into your sign, he's going to move in squared position with Mercury and Venus, which is going to cause a little bit of a difficulty when you feel like certain relationships, you have to keep doing stuff for these people in order to get support from them. And it's like you're overworking yourself in order to get a little tiny bit back, which of course never works. On top of that, Saturn's position in your sign moves into T-square with Neptune and with Mercury as Mercury moves into that T-square placement. And when that happens, it creates a big challenge, especially around your relationships. particularly when it seems that following your intuition in order to understand those around you and those that you love is really difficult, because of course your intuition is clouded by how you feel about the person, and it makes it very difficult to read that person. Now, everybody goes through that. I mean, even the best intuitive, the strongest intuitive on the planet is going to go through this, because in truth, our intuition is clouded by an emotion. And when the intuition is clouded by an emotion, especially love, it becomes difficult. So the bottom line for that there is don't even try. Don't even try to use your intuition to read that person. All of this stuff that's happening is a great big giant obstacle that's getting in the way. It's like building up this wall, like, the Pink Floyd album, The Wall. It's building up this wall. And the wall continues to get taller and taller so that it's hard for you to look over it. Now, the good news is that Saturn's trine with the Sun is showing you a positive advance towards some of your career goals. And when you are so focused on all this other stuff going on around you, it really makes it difficult for you to focus on something that's going to better you and better your situation. The truth is that you need that just as much as everybody else does. And if you're spending all of your time and all of your energy trying to take care of everybody else and make everybody else happy, and let me guess, nobody's ever happy. You see where I'm going with this here? It's like being in quicksand and you're the one that's going to get buried, not anybody else. No matter what you do, it's never good enough. It's time for you. Saturn is saying, your responsibility is to you now. You need to focus your energy in what's best for you. And right now it's really focused on your career goals, what it is that you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, well then take some time to use your intuition to figure that out, rather than helping everybody else or trying to get support for what it is that you need to do. You want the truth? You don't need support from anybody. You just need to get off your butt and do it. So this week, that is what it's all about. It's a time for you to stand up on your own 2 feet and shine, and not worry about the mess that's going on around you. Let them clean up their own mess. You guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, Pluto's aspects with Neptune and with Jupiter are beautiful for you guys this week, especially when it comes to new ideas for new things and new manifestations that you want that are provided in your life. And your intuition, of course, is a very important part of this with Pluto's aspect or sextile with Neptune there. And of course, the support that Jupiter brings in is beautiful too. But we're not just talking about support from the people around you. We're talking about support from a higher source, if you know what I mean. Now, when it comes down to it, you Capricorns are brilliant, you have brilliant ideas, and you're brilliant about actually implementing those ideas and doing something about those ideas, which is great. The problem, though, is what Pluto's trying to tell you is to not overthink it quite so much. You come up with the idea, you decide that this is the idea you want to implement, and you allow your intuition to come in. You allow your innate abilities, whether you are tapped into them or not, to be able to guide you where it is that you need to go. What happens, or the problem that happens, is when you worry about not knowing the outcome and those types of things, that's what really gets in your way. And you want to avoid that at all costs. Allow your intuition to guide you in the right direction. Go to that direction. Do what you need to do. And allow your intuition to guide you into the next phase. This is what's going to make whatever it is that you're doing a lot easier for you, a lot more successful for you. I'm telling you, it's like magic, especially when you eliminate that need to worry, to really pay attention, too much attention to the details, and all of those things that earth signs have a tendency to do, especially Capricorns. So this week, really pay attention to those ideas. Allow your intuition to guide you to which idea is the one that's going to work for you right now, and also really allow that intuition and those abilities to help you form what it is that you want to do this week, because the truth is you're going to be very successful if you do just that. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, making yourself a priority and your goals a priority is really important this week. Now, a lot of times people don't really know this about Aquarians, but Aquarians are the humanitarians of the zodiac. They always want to help people. They're always willing to help people. And a lot of the time they'll put their own goals and their own priorities on the back burner in order to help somebody else with what it is that they need to do, especially when it comes to those people that are closest to them, their family circle and support system. Now, this is a wonderful thing, of course, but it also winds up being an excuse for you not to actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And that makes you frustrated, and then, of course, it makes you want to point the finger at these people for getting in the way. It's all bad when you think about it. This week, it really is time to learn how to put yourself down there as a priority also. It's wonderful to help other people. You should help other people. You don't want to make yourself a priority and nobody else a priority. That's going in the opposite direction. But at the same time, you need to have a balance of both. Priorities to your own goals and priorities to other people. Doing this is going to create a nice little balance in your life. It's going to make things a lot easier, and it makes your energy flow from one thing to another much easier, because you're taking away a lot of that negative crap that comes up with self-sacrificing for everybody else. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. Neptune's T-square with Mercury and Saturn is going to be a difficulty for you guys this week, because it really feels like you've got to work really, really hard to get the support that you need from other people. It's like you've got to do twice as much for those people in order to get back some support for you and what it is that you're doing. And this is really frustrating when it comes down to it. At the same time, though, Neptune's sextile with Pluto is reminding you that when it comes to these relationships, how you think about them is really important, because if you're thinking about them in a negative way, of course, you're going to put negative energy into that relationship. The truth is, what it comes down to is this. You need to have some balance there. Instead of thinking your way through situations so much, maybe you need to feel your way through the situation just a little bit. But not so much that your feelings get washed away, or you get washed away in the feeling. There has to be a balance between the head and the heart. Otherwise, it really doesn't work very well. But you can't do one or the other, because it just doesn't work that way. Overanalyzation, overfeeling a situation is really going to cause you trouble, and it's going to keep you in the same place rather than moving you forward. It's totally not productive. So this week, you know, when it comes to those relationships, if you're really putting that much energy into it and not getting a lot back, then you need to ask yourself why the heck you're doing it in the first place. The truth is, you shouldn't be begging for support from other people. If you're not getting that support, then you don't need it, and that's all there is to it. This is your journey. This is about what you're going to do. You do what it is that you need to do, and everything else is going to fall into place around you. So you guys have a great week with that. Thanks so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to click on that link down there in the description. That is the Metal in the Mountains events page. And I'm hoping to see you there. Definitely come on down to the show, have some fun, listen to some music, and of course come by and visit me. And when you do, tell me that you heard about this show because of these horoscopes, because of course I love to hear that. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week. I'll see you wonderful people next week.